All right, hello and welcome to the Rambling Robin podcast. I am Robin, and today I'll be rambling a little bit about the things that I'd like to talk about. Today, we're going to be doing another Trolldom episode, as you probably can see by the thumbnail or by reading the title or whatever brought you to actually listening to this. So today is Halloween spooky time. That's why I don't got any lights on me on the video version, as you might be able to tell if you're watching the video version. It's also a way for me to just be a little bit lazy and not turn on the lights. And I actually kind of prefer this lighting, if I'm being honest, a little spookier, darker. Either way, let's not dwell on that, shall we? Today I wanted to do, because 'tis the Halloween season, I decided let's do a little, I'm gonna have to wait 1 second here. All right, and we're back. Quick fix there. Never mind. What I want to do today is, because it is Halloween, because it's the spooky season, I wanted to do a little, I wanted to try this thing for Trolldom, the story that I'm working on. I wanted to just sit down for this episode and do kind of a little brainstorming thing with y'all. You can be a part of the process. You can listen to me trying to figure out what I'm going to do here. So what I'm planning to do is I'm going to, well, when I'm done talking, explaining about it, I'll be opening up my iPad here that I got in front of me, and I'll be showing you the screen. If you're watching the video version, don't worry. If you're listening to the podcast, I'll be narrating as well as I can for everything that's happening. But then I'll be brainstorming a new character idea or a new location idea for the story, and with the theme of more like something more spooky, something more demonic or whatever, something to that degree. And I think that could be a lot of fun, just showing you part of, or not really part of, but kind of what the process is like for me when I'm trying to figure out new ideas for this story. Most of the time I'm actually just thinking of ideas at random times. I might just be walking down the street, or just heading to work, or sitting on a bus, or maybe I'm in the shower. It just comes at random times. I just get this idea. Oh my god, I need to add that character or that location or something. I just get something that I need to write down so I don't forget it, and just so I can add it into the story when the time comes. Because that's like 90% of the characters that I've thought of so far. They're all characters that I'm like, ooh, that's a cool idea. Write it down and maybe we'll use it in the future, hopefully. Like, I give them at least a short backstory and like idea of what kind of the aesthetics will be and stuff like that. But we'll see what we make of this. So if you're watching the video, we're switching now. Here you can see the little area where I'll be drawing up my ideas, and this is just going to be a brainstorming session. So I'm not going to be drawing any characters in particular. Like, I'm not going to be putting any detailed faces, or I might do small little sketches, like a little two eyes and a smiley here, or something to that degree, right? It's not going to be anything detailed. It's just I'm doing this to make it a little bit easier for me to keep track of my thoughts when we're doing this live in front of whoever might decide to watch. Or it's not really live, but you know what I'm saying, or I hope you know what I'm saying. So if we start, so at the core of it we have spooky, right? Or spook, as I managed to write down here. So what I'm thinking, because it's something spooky and we want to work from that, right? We want to brainstorm. This is our core. This is what we're moving from. What are some spooky things that we could do? We could do, like, one common thing, right, is spiders and like cobwebs. So that's something that we could work with, right? Cobwebs, spiders, maybe a character who's very focused on spiders, or maybe it's like a town that is on top of a cobweb. Ooh, I like that actually. I like that. So let's imagine how am I gonna do this? Let's write it down here. So maybe we do town on a giant cobweb. Or do we just call it a spider net? Spider web? Cobwebs are just like when it's like just a bunch of, we don't really know when. Let's just do cobweb slash spider net. I like that, like a town, just probably a small town, but like on a spider net, and maybe it's suspended like among some trees, like a bunch of dead trees or something, or maybe it's like on like above a canyon, like there's two giant cliffs, and in between there's this huge spider web. And yeah, it's web, not net. I'm on a spider web. There we go. But I kind of like that. It's like, it's ridiculous, right? But it works. It can work for the story that I'm making. But then, like, all right, how about the roads then? All right, I guessing like just wooden roads, right? Oh yeah. This is how we're gonna do this. I just realized I'm gonna. Come on, what is going on here? I need to select. So I'm just moving the text around here. So we got town on the giant spider web, and it's got wooden roads, right? Because like everything can just be on the spider web, because then people will get stuck if they walk on it. So like don't fall off or something. Don't fall off, right? If you fall off, the spiders will get you, right? Something like that. So if you fall off, the spiders will get you. Just very simple idea for a town or something that we could use. Maybe it's not a town. Maybe it's just like a house, just one big house, like just one person, or maybe it's like a castle or something. It's the Spider King, or it's Lord Spider-Man. Lord Spider Guy, Spider, whatever, like something like that. Maybe we can do that. So I could write down like maybe not a town, but a building. Yay. Something like that, right? So I have some very basic ideas. We have a building, maybe we have a town, we have something that is on top of a giant spider web that is somewhere in the world. Let's imagine that it's like suspended in the woods or something. Suspended in the woods. What woods, you might ask? Well, I have no idea yet. We'll find out later, right? Maybe there's a connection with these woods to some other place that I'll create, or that we might create together in this podcast, right? Who knows? So then, all right, who lives in this town? Is it just normal people? Is it some kind of like magical creature? Who lives there? Why do they live there, right? So if we think about this, maybe it's not a town. Maybe it is just a castle. That might be easier. Maybe it's just one person. Maybe there is. Okay, so because Trolldom is a lot about like mages, magicians and stuff, how about we imagine this? The person who created this place. So a person, like, at least this place had to like happen somehow, right? So what if we imagine that the creator of this town or this house or this castle, whatever it might be, is some type of powerful or skilled mage, right? Who could it be? Could it be someone special? So um, in this world, it's probably best if I preface with this. So in this world, I have created a few characters already, as you might have guessed so far. But one of these, or rather 14 of these characters, are actually called the 14 Great Sages. And they are just some great like magicians that have lived or still live possibly, that have not completed. um, oh, I'm totally blanking on the word here. They've accomplished great like magical tasks or whatever. I can't get too much into it because I'm not entirely sure of what I want to implement or not so far. But what if we imagine that it's one of the 14 great sages? Like, these people are seen as like almost the top of any magic users that have lived. Like, among all the magic users that have lived, these 14 are like at least in the top 100 ever or something, or maybe like top 20 ever even. There are only a few people that we know of that have ever been more powerful or something like that. Maybe the person who created this is one of the 14 great sages. It could be. So let's just write 14. So this is not a definitive, but if we imagine, all right, so this is one of the 14 great sages. What, okay, spider theme, right? Spiders. So spider theme for this character. So if we imagine like a more common, right, is to have like the bat theme, like almost vampire style. Can we do something similar when it comes to spiders? Like, because I'm thinking, this will, it is still a human, this person, right? This is a human. But how do we give them a spider theme? Like, what do they do? I'm thinking in terms of their magic, like, right, they use nets, right? Nets or webs, I guess we could call them, right? But okay, so maybe now that I think more about it, I want the 14 great sages to be like really impressive, or what you would call it, when it comes to their magic, right? So the reason why they're considered great sages is because they have accomplished these great feats of magic. So maybe just nets and webs are not really gonna cut it, right? So if we look more towards the spider thing, like maybe this person was able to control spiders. No, that feels a little bit late. Maybe they tamed spiders. Maybe that's one of the reasons they were able to communicate with spiders, which is a very rare ability to have, something like that, right? That feels like it could work. So maybe spiders. How could we phrase it? So like controlling spiders, I guess. Speeders. They're controlling spiders. Something like that. And then like net webs, we can still do a lot with the nets and web stuff, but I feel like controlling spiders just adds a little bit to it. And then of course this character will have some kind of spider thing. So if I think quickly, just like super short about the character design for this person. So I don't want to make it a female. I don't want it to be a woman, because it is almost like too typical to me when the spider character is a woman. For some reason, like any humanoid or human related to spiders, it's always a woman, and I don't know why. I've it's like I'm tired of that. So this is going to be a man, and I'm thinking like, what kind of character can this be? So if we're thinking it is a mage, but this guy, maybe he has like, maybe we give him some type of like just spider arms, right? And then he has like the huge spider butt behind him at all times. Because even though he's able to use this web magic and stuff, like he still needs to be able to, like he still needs the magical energy to use it, right? So if we take the nets and webs, he still needs storage for this. Because if he's just going to create nets and webs from nothing, it's going to take too much magical energy because of the rules of the magic system in this world. It takes a lot of energy to create something from nothing, and it takes even more energy to just cast magic without anything, just from nothing. So because this person is such a great magician, right? They've managed to think of some smart way of just constantly creating more and more of this web, and got inspired by spiders. So he has kind of affixed this spider butt to himself or something to that, like to that effect. So now he constantly has like this spider butt with him in order to use the magic that he wants more effectively. Right? I like that. I like that idea. So he has this big spider butt. He dresses, I don't know how he dresses. He wears like a vest. I still want to go with the. So I'm doing like this cowboy magician theme to the entire thing, right? So can we do something with that? Like, can he still dress like a cowboy and make this work? Maybe it doesn't look like just like a butt that's hanging from him. Maybe it looks like something else. As of right now, I can only think of it looking like a butt. And then maybe he has like these things. Oh yeah, so maybe it doesn't really, it's not supposed to be a butt, it's supposed to be like a sack or something. But he has affixed these arms to himself because he got inspired by spiders, right? He've added 6 more limbs. Or no, 4 more limbs to himself. And then he uses these to carry around this sack. And the only way to comfortably do it is to have it hang off down or something. Maybe we'll come back to that. Add a question mark to this. So maybe something like that. And then, so this character, is he going to be like cool and suave? Is he going to be creepy? That also plays a lot into it. Like, maybe I don't want him to dress very well. Maybe I want him to just be really creepy, because it is Halloween. That's why we're doing this. We're going with a creepy theme because we want to create a creepy character, right? So maybe he's just this really, really odd looking man who's maybe he's a little bit shorter. He's got these weird little legs. And he does have the big spider butt, because he needed that in order to in order to use the webs efficiently. And he's so focused, he's so obsessed with being able to use this magic correctly that he has just focused his whole life around it. He doesn't really care about anything else. He doesn't care about how he dresses. He doesn't care about how other people see him anymore. Because in the past, before he became or was acknowledged as one of the 14 great sages, something happened or something like that. I kind of like this little design that I drew here. Watch the video version if you want to see it. So maybe that's his thing. He's a creepy man, creepy guy with a big juicy spider butt just filled with the webs. We don't know how much webbing he has stored up in there. But whenever people ask him, he kind of explains it in such a way that he's constantly creating new and more webbing, and it's just compacted, and the more time he can spend on creating this webbing without expending it, the more powerful it gets, the more force he can use when he's trying to like casting web, almost like Spider-Man, right? Almost like the Spider-Man. I know. Spider-Man just sounds more fun. Something like that. And that is how this town was created, because he casted this webbing, and then people saw it as an opportunity to live in nature or something. Like there is a reason why it happened, right? I can think of that later, but this kind of works, right? I like this. And because I'm still doing not too long podcasts, we're going to be rounding this off. I kind of like we have a very basic idea of a character here. We have this spider guy who's one of the 14 great sages. So I'm probably going to be thinking a lot more of what type of magic he actually does have and stuff like that. And he's, if I'm being honest, this is the first like concrete character that is one of the 14 great sages. I have thought of one more, but he's more of a part, or like two more, I guess. But they're more part of other characters' backstories, and we don't really have any specific like details on them, like anything about them, except that they're somehow involved in those other characters. So this is the first when it comes to the 14 great sages. So I'm thinking like, okay, what do we want to name this guy? Want to give him like some spider theme name, right? So we of course, not S. We have arachnid, right? Just because spider, arachnid. If you don't know, I'm pretty sure it's just like the scientific name, arachnid. What can we do with like spider, arachnid, web? Something about his name needs to like remind you of that. So maybe like RSP. That sounds interesting, right? I think so. RSP. It sounds like it's a made up name because I made it up. But if we try to give it some type of backstory, maybe like it could come from another country, of course, right? So maybe he's not. So most of the characters in the story so far, they are kind of named in more like conventionally, I guess you could call it Western style, like a Western naming convention. Like we have like a William, we have a Rudolph, we have a stuff like that. Or no, I guess not. That's just that. Those are the only ones. So, but if we think about this, if we think about Araspi, the more I say it, the more I like it. Actually, I think I'm going to stick with it for now. So his first name Araspi, so Ara like arachnid, and then SPI like spider or spindle, if you speak Swedish. A lot of the names of locations and characters in this story actually have like Swedish inspirations for their names, because I've noticed in a lot of like in a lot of stories and stuff, they just take parts of like a different language, like Japanese or Italian or French or whatever. They take parts of that language and just implement it into the naming of other like things in English, and it makes it sound more interesting or like cooler, but it still kind of sounds normal to an extent. And I've always thought that it's a really nice way of just creating new names and stuff like that. So I'm doing that with Swedish because I am Swedish. But we have Araspi. What could his last name be? Araspi Aiton. It's now that's too easy. We have Aiton. It's very simple. Araspi Weber. That's too. That's a little bit too on the nose, I think. But maybe he renamed himself or something, or maybe he's named Araspi. What else can we think of? What else can we do? What else can he be called? It's difficult. I really don't know. I generally try to think of just very simple names, actually, so they're easy to remember as well. But like Aiton kind of works. Weber, it's too on the nose, I feel. And it's difficult to add inspiration from Swedish into this, because like spider, spindle, it's very similar. Net, gnat. It's I can't really add a lot from the Swedish because it's too similar to the English when it comes to this. Araspi Ben. Or like At Ben? No. Or Adaben? Adaben kind of works. Araspi Adaben. I think I like that. It's either Adaben or Aiton. So Adaben. It's very simple. It's stupid as well, which I like. It's just taken from Swedish åtta ben, meaning 8 legs. So you would just spell it with this kind of a, like with a dot over. And in Swedish, we call it å. So åtta ben, making it 8 legs. Very simple, but I like it actually. Adaben. Similar to Araspi. I feel like the more I say it, the more I like it. But either way, I feel like that's a good stopping point, actually. I'm going to keep working on this idea, and I kind of like doing this, if I'm being honest. I enjoy just speaking out loud when it comes to just getting my thoughts out there, trying to think of something new. And I feel like this is much better than what I did last time when I was just basically sitting down and like, yeah, I'm not making progress. And I kind of like, after I posted that episode, I just kind of came to thinking like, yeah, why don't I just take this time to actually just force some progress to an extent, right? Even if this character, I might not use this character, I might not be able to implement this character for like who knows how long. But this idea exists, and it's just it's some nice practice for what I could do during this time, or at least for the podcast. I feel like it's a fun thing to do. So I will probably do more of this in the future. We'll see how many times I do it. There's a huge possibility that I actually just do this in every episode from now on. If I'm being honest, because this was a lot of fun for me, and just gets the creative juices flowing, and it feels like I'm actually accomplishing much more with this than just talking about it. And I feel like I can't talk as much about it anymore because I don't want to spoil too much about what the story will have in total and stuff like that. And I just really need to start whatever. Either way, I realized that I was just about to start rambling a lot again, and I caught myself because this episode is already like half an hour long. So I want to thank you so much if you've listened up until this point. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter handle is Robindoff, ROBINDOFF. And on Instagram, I am Mr. Goblinaire, and on ArtStation, I am Doffman. If you want to see me on YouTube, I am Mr. Goblinaire. You can find me by searching the Rambling Robin podcast. But this is going to be it for today. I'm going to thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a great Halloween, or if you're watching this at a later time, I hope you had a great Halloween. Me, I didn't do anything special. I went to work today, but that's fine. I'll see you later. Goodbye.